Battlefield 2042 is going free to play. Aren't I just a fucking prophet? All this is coming from industry insiders who have heard rumblings of Battlefield 2042 becoming a free to play game, which stems from poor sales, bad reviews, and an already dying player base. Did I mention this game came out in November? Will this fix anything? Probably not. The game has more issues than a graduating college student entering the world of adulthood, and just going to free to play, in my opinion, won't fix that. Honestly, this feels like more of a saving face thing than a taking accountability thing, and I know a lot of you are typing furiously on your keyboards trying to defend this game, but you're wrong. As someone who's been around the Call of Duty scene for quite some time and also dedicating 90% of his channel to it, I know when a game is shit. And I can tell you for a fact that this community is being absolutely diddled by the developers and the publisher. Also, as someone who accidentally paid over $100 for this garbage, hearing this news makes me feel like Billy Bean. For the record, this is my last negative video about Battlefield 2042 because, well, there's no fun in beating a dead horse. But I want to use your precious time to talk about Battlefield 2042 and its problems. Most of my issues that I have at least talked about are fixable, which is why I want to highlight the four most egregious. Each I have talked about numerous times in numerous videos, and for the remainder of this video, you'll be watching gameplay from Clownfield 2042, so enjoy. The lack of content is easily the biggest sin not named Johnny. The game has 7 maps because I'm not including the 6 remasters. Before I even compare it to Vanguard, I already know someone's going to say, well, Vanguard has remasters too, so okay. Take out the 2 maps that are remasters, which leaves it with 14 maps, still excluding Champion Hill maps. 2042 also features 22 weapons in comparison to Vanguard's 38. To even further add to my point, Battlefield 4, a game released in 2013, had 10 maps and 77 weapons at launch. Huh, weird. Did you know this game doesn't even have a campaign? If you didn't notice, that's okay, because not many people come to Battlefield for its campaigns. What I didn't really like was the fact that they got rid of the campaign to focus more resources on the main game, and being honest, it doesn't show very well. Another thing they did was take developers working on Battlefront 2 to add more focus here on 2042. If all that was done in an effort to release this, then I imagine most of the developers fucked off and were in their cubicles punching each other in the arm to see who hit harder. Again, I want to say the lack of campaign doesn't matter. What does matter is the fact that all these resources were thrown at it. It just makes you wonder what happened. And for those of you saying it gets better, stop. Don't give these billion-dollar companies any reason to keep producing garbage games. This is the first time I've actually been impressed with the response from the community, but not impressed with the action from the developers. The whole problem here is the games on the new gen got a price increase because it costs more to make games. If this is what my extra $10 looks like, then guess what?
I don't want it.
If I'm paying $70, I should be getting a complete game, with the long term being better and better, not a crappy game at the start, and then all of a sudden it gets better later, and my $70 worth is finally paid off at the very end of the life cycle. That is dumb. And for those of you that are complaining about my Call of Duty comparisons, Vanguard, while flawed, see many of my videos on my channel, it at least shipped in a state in which I got my money's worth. With this game, I very much did not. The Portal is a failure, and anyone with eyes can see that. While I have changed my tune slightly on the Portal, before I thought it was nothing more than just a remaster of old games and maps, I have found that I am wrong. Yes, even I am wrong. I am not perfect, but this game has various features that I had missed, where you can mix and match various pieces between all the different games and even have a zombies mode, which to my point makes it a glorified custom games. So I'll give you a smiley face for doing something innovative, but I'll also give you a frowny face for fun and a stormy cloud for replayability. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy the fact that the game combines multiple old games based on fan favorite games and maps, but with the way it's structured, it's a failure. Being honest, as someone who's been begging Call of Duty to combine its games and make one game the central thing, the Portal is that, but just a poorly thought out version of that. I like the custom game option where you can just do just about anything, but what they should have done was instead create a separate ranking system, combine the games, and not spread them out into 3 different options. This would give you a foundation to build off of, but instead, you are now fucked/handicapped to a glorified custom games and remaster. The Portal had potential, and EA and DICE squandered that opportunity. Can they fix it? Possibly, but this means stripping down the game to its core and rebuilding, which is similar to the 4 major things I'm going to be talking about. Plus, they whiffed on the opportunity to incorporate future Battlefields into the Portal, and I'm not saying I'm a genius, but I'm kind of a genius. This was probably the plan. But again, it failed, and I have a sneaking suspicion this will end up being abandoned as a whole, which would be stupid to do, but hey, Battlefield's going free to play, and that is also a dumb idea. The UI is literally one of the worst I've ever seen. It's clunky, and navigating any menu is confusing or unpolished. Even equipping attachments feels weird. You have 2 different ways to equip attachments. First, you need to go to the gun and customize the gun. Then in game, you need to hold down a button and click multiple other buttons, either once or 3 times, to figure out what attachment you need for a specific engagement. I'm sorry, but that is terrible, and nothing about it is a real smooth transition from one thing to another. And just trying to pick whatever operator you want to use and customizing them is also just an absolute chore. But don't get me started on operators and how they replace the regular class system that you are used to. Actually, the operators in this game are a joke. What a segue. Aren't I just the best? Operators are supposed to be a replacement for the traditional class system that we are all used to, those classes being Assault, Engineer, Support, and Recon, even though they still exist but act more as custom classes than anything else, as if the developers knew people were going to be pissed, so they left them in as custom classes to be like, well, they're still an option in the game. They're not. They suck. And actually, they add nothing to the game, much like the operators that are cringy, broken, and trash that no one seems to like. They all seem to do whatever the old class system used to do. These are purely here to be a cash grab and nothing more. Again, I'm not a genius and think most likely these were going to have more skins released and were developed purely so people would buy skin packs for that specific character. More money equals more problems nowadays. What they should have done was have 4 to 5 operators per class. Since you don't have a campaign, you can use them as a storytelling element, which is what I thought you were going to do based off the trailer. This is also something that a lot of other games do, similar to Apex, Call of Duty, and Rainbow Six. They all use their in-game characters as a storytelling element for people who care. And they still might do this, but I honestly don't care anymore. This edition and this game are hot garbage, and I have zero intention of buying anything from the store because this game doesn't deserve any more money. It pains me to say this, no, really it does, but Battlefield 2042 is a colossal failure, and has most likely left a pretty big turd on the chest of every player to touch this game. One in which I doubt most people won't forget. Again, Battlefield 2042 going free to play is a bad move because in my mind this means EA plans to ram micro DLC down your throat, and when they're finished, they're going to expect you to say thank you. They come out as heroes, and it appears that they've corrected their bad reputation. My advice, don't fall for it. Like I said, it's a last-ditch effort to make money, and I have no plans to fall for it. I want to again go on record and say the only ways I will play 2042 is to meme the game at the expense of the developers and the publisher. I'd also like to say I will not buy another Battlefield game until I see improvement throughout this one and probably see how this next one shakes out. Lastly, I know the comments I'll be getting on this video, one I talked about earlier, which is it does get better, and we should stop probably saying that because you paid $70 for this. You should be getting your money's worth at the start, not at the end. That's ridiculous. And the other one is, well, don't buy the game, lol. Okay, next time you're driving, need to get gas, and you see the gas prices, before you complain about them, call me. I'll gladly say to you, well, if you don't like it, just don't drive. It's a stupid argument that has driven me mad for years, which is why I slowly have become the monster I am now. If you've bought the product and you still don't like it, you have to speak up. I'm not saying because you have a defective printer, that means you just be a dick to some poor retail worker. No, don't do that. Explain the defects, what's wrong, and I guarantee you that person will be glad to help. But in terms of game development, I feel like it's a bit different. I know that there's more control in game development of how the product ships and the post-launch, and I feel like this game itself has had a really bad post-launch and kind of embarrassing post-launch. I feel like if they went about it a different way, Battlefield 2042 would have been a better game. It was announced too early and rushed too quickly, and now we're here. And again, for the final time, going to a free-to-play game solves nothing. You can go free-to-play all you want, but when there's so many fundamental issues, which it does have a lot, you're better off just calling it as is, release content, free content for months, and continue to work on the game, not go free-to-play. But you won't because you'll end up just going free-to-play and microtransactions will litter this game. And I will bet everything I have that this is what's going to happen. But that's it. What do you think of Battlefield 2042 going free-to-play? Will this be good or bad for the franchise and this game? Let me know what you think in the comments. Leave a like if you liked it. Subscribe if you enjoyed this long-winded video. And, well, bye.